Now, if you look at the Red Raiders this year, there's a lot of people that are looking at this season and are defining it as championship or bust. This is the year in which they've pushed their chips all into the center of the table. And who can really blame them? You look at what they've done in the offseason, and we'll get to that in a moment, but it kind of seems like this might be the year. If not now, then when for the Red Raiders? You got Baron Morton back at quarterback, which is massive. He, of course, has a bunch of new weapons at his disposal. The big key with Baron Morton, he's got to be healthy. He has to get through this season at 100%. You got great leadership at the second level defensively. Jacob Rodriguez is back. Ben Roberts is back. Both at linebacker, guys are productive, guys that have a good feel for the system. You look at how aggressive they've been in going after players in the transfer portal. It's probably the biggest reason why I and many others feel great about the Red Raiders this year, because they went out and they spent a ton of money in NIL. And as a result, they have completely overhauled their defensive line. This was a massive point of emphasis coming into the season, because the defense last year kind of struggled with applying pressure to the opposing quarterback, and they gave up a bunch of explosive plays. You go out, you go and get 4 guys at least along the defensive line that have played high-level football at other places in the past. That should improve depth, that should improve quality, and that should give them a better chance to make some interesting moves on that side of the ball. But the offensive line has also experienced quite a bit of resurgence as well. You go out and add some veteran pieces, and you got to feel in a pretty good spot for the most part to take a considerable step. Now, you look at some of the additions at skill and some of the other places that you have to replace in production. There are a couple things that might need to be ironed out there, but I feel good overall about the improvements along both lines of scrimmage, improvement that you're likely going to get at quarterback with another year from Baron Morton, and some of the additions that you made in the portal at some of the skill position spots. Look at the schedule. Also a huge factor when it comes to evaluating these teams and college football playoff candidacy. I think a 9-3 team this year could easily win the Big 12 because there's just so much parity in the league. I look at some of their toughest games at Kansas State. That'll be on November 1st. Probably one of the toughest games on the schedule. You're on the road. Kansas State's always a team that's right there in the mix at season's end. When you look at them, they're always 8-9 wins. They're in the middle of November. That's going to be a massive game. Texas Tech also has to go to Arizona State. That's on October 18th. Now, Arizona State last year, of course, a tremendous season, went on to go and do things that many thought were not possible last year. But here they are now in a great spot to back up what they already accomplished last year at Utah on September 20th. I think Utah bounces back in a big way this year. You're at altitude. It's in September, so it's not going to be overly cold, but still a challenging environment to play in nonetheless. And then you have BYU on November 8th, another very tricky game for the Red Raiders. There's a reason why I really like them this year. I think the schedule's for the most part manageable, and I love some of the additions that they've made on both sides of the ball, including some of the coaching changes that have also transpired on the defensive side as well. So really optimistic and bullish on the Red Raiders this year. They are squarely in Tier 2 as a college football playoff contender.